what was your thought when you were designing your mall from a design perspective and marrying customer experience to that in that kind of a structure is outlet mall and little away from the main hustle customers?
Thank you, Rajendra ji. It's really lovely being on this panel with such renowned and lovely gentlemen. To answer your question, sir, I think the concept of an outlet mall, at least in our city, in our state, is been a much needed requirement. We've been waiting for something like this to come, and when we felt like we have the right destination, we have the right place, uh, it was about time that we stepped into offering a discounted mall format, but with an experience. Because of course, there are several malls in the north in the similar format, and they are there literally in every 2 kilometers, 3 kilometers radius from each other, and all of them are performing well. So, in order to really top up what's existing out there, we knew that it was a no-brainer doing this. Convincing brands initially was hard. That's where the battle started. But once we got them to understand that people are going to travel to Bhiwandi just to ensure that they save 50% or 60% of what they would spend, it became a value proposition. Now, coming to answer your question as to how we are amplifying the design. Once we surpass the brand problem, we convince them to come on board. I think then we started thinking deeper into the value that we're adding in terms of the design aspect of things. We, in fact, changed after 6 months of pitching it to a multiple brand network. We changed our entire design. We realized that we didn't want the regular design format of how malls are built. That's when it's not the materials that we used, it's actually the right people, the architects that we got involved. And with the talent, we deployed a template that can be changeable, that can be experiential, and at the same time, we are able to add something new, if not every month, but every 6 months. Something that can keep adding. So we built an amphitheater, we built food trucks in within the locality, which doesn't exist in at least Mumbai. In Delhi, it's a very common format. And also within the mall, how we can keep adding new experiences for customers who are going to take their time out to come to our mall. So we're still working on it. We're still evolving. But unfortunately, Prakash Bhai couldn't be here due to some personal commitments. But he did see this vision to be much greater than the brand itself, but make it more customer centric.
Interestingly, you said that you're building an amphitheater. So what kind of can you elaborate a little bit on that? Because in a mall which is maybe situated a little outside of the city, how what prompted you to create that kind of a facility in that place?
So when we had to think about a couple of checkpoints, we knew that events, stand-up comedy events, concerts is going to be the primary objective of why people will come besides the discounted mall format. We knew that we want to bring people here in order to give them an experience every single time that they want to come drive down. Of course, I mean, discount is another reason that they would come, but so we built an amphitheater that's one of its kind. We are able to accommodate about 3,000 people seated in that amphitheater. It's an open amphitheater, so we're able to have concerts and everything. And right besides that, we've kept 10 F&B experience of 22 food trucks, which at any given point of time, 24/7 can be accessible to people.
Actually, you're building multiple mixed-use assets. Now, the moment you have a mixed-use asset, you have a lot of challenges of traffic, multiple entries, multiple exits, multiple parking requirements, multiple security checks, access from A building to B building with the needs of customer from a customer's ease perspective rather than just a pure design and cost perspective. Can you brief us how you look at the design to ensure a seamless customer experience from not only these perspectives but other aspects that you would have thought while designing the architecture and design of your mixed-use assets?
Thank you so much for having me on this panel. Uh, I must congratulate Murtuza for creating a outlet mall. It's very, very novel for India. People thinking about it, and I think this will add a new direction to the asset class, new altogether asset class in India, and really nice to know all the thoughts that he has. Um, Definitely, sir, we are doing mixed-use development, and the major challenge is definitely creating that ease of traffic flow and also an independent asset experience for all the visitors to each and every type of asset. So, in the last mall, we have a hotel, we have an office tower, and we have retail wherein we had to really work hard. I think it took almost 3 months to design the traffic movement because each of them have to have a drop off. The front is limited. There is only a single road, and these are the asset classes which are coming up everywhere, wherein the experience can really go from being amazing in terms of how the building looks to how the customer is feeling when they experience the mall can totally go down to being a bad experience. So there are a lot of challenges for sure, but I'd like to add that what we need to understand the target market for each and every asset class is different. Offices have some timing, so you have to really engage with the perfect benchmarks in mixed-use developments through understanding, what are they doing right, what are they doing wrong, and one has to never shy away from talking to experts. So maybe traffic consultants or maybe the ITCs for understanding what are the best benchmarks that have been created in India and abroad for mixed-use developments, and learning from them and then finding out the best way to do it. So the new development that we're coming up with in Noida, that also was a big challenge because the designers gave us an option of coming through the office tower, drop off to the retail, and we did not like it. We kept persevering and brainstorming what to do, and eventually we had a separate retail drop off and a separate ramp entry for the retail. So when the retail customer is coming, he would not even know the office is there. You will have a whole new experience of just being surrounded by that retail. But at the same time, the office person would be able to access the retail through a hidden sort of a seamless manner wherein it will not be imposing that the office exists in that property. And yeah, I mean, it's a very nice question and it's one of the biggest problems to solve.
Thank you so much, Vijay. Virgin, you are in the one of your developments is in the city of Leeds. And that is one city which I would call as really a complicated city from a asset class perspective. People would say Udaipur is a tier two city, वहाँ तो क्या है कुछ भी बना दो. But at least from my perspective, I see that is one city which caters to the best of the class customers, whether they are national or international. The amount of tourism traffic that Udaipur gets is very, very, very high. The amount of weddings that Udaipur hosts is humongous. And for weddings, Udaipur is a costly place as compared to all other cities in the country. So the kind of people also who come and stay there for 2 nights, or even if they're coming for a wedding, it's a really very good quality of customers. Now, when you're designing, building a mall in a city like Udaipur, where other than the local residents of Udaipur, we can expect a huge amount of national and international tourist influx into the mall as well. And their expectation would be obviously from anywhere the way they would expect in a tier one city. So when you're designing this mall or when you design mall in design walls for cities which are like this multifaceted. What extra care, what guidance would you give to people from your experience that they should take care of building more than such cities? Keeping customer experience and a combination of design, customer experience, and cost at bay. What would be your thought on this for everybody's knowledge?
Thank you. I think you hit the nail on the head. When we went out to build this mall, we were very clear about the vision for the development. It was not catered to the city. It was catering to the moving traffic first on the main national highway. So there's a lot of traffic coming into Ahmedabad. Ahmedabad is a dry city. Yes, we can traffic coming into Jaipur. Plus, there's a large temple for Nandwara, which is a near second religious temple. This is on the route that. Plus, of course, tourist traffic coming from the airport. Also, Udaipur is the largest city in South Rajasthan. Udaipur city itself is not very large. The entire South Rajasthan belt is quite large. All these small towns we of Udaipur. So our development was focused for this entire South Rajasthan belt, tourists and Udaipur, which is quite complicated and making the retailer understand was quite difficult. Because retailers per se were not very gung about coming to Udaipur city because the numbers didn't look that attractive. However, we were very clear about our vision. We got this project approved as a tourism project. We called it a tourism project. We built a service apartment, we built offices, we're building a 200 room hotel. We must build retail project. And like Abhishek said, the idea was that while they complement each other, they don't disturb each other. So they built it in such a manner. About cost, you're absolutely right. We had to put in amount of capital that we need to do in a tier one town. It's amount of money that's on the same. And the asset is opened up in phases. So we built in millions of it right now. A second million is planned for phase two by now. So what we realized is once the retail opened, numbers were good, but once the hotel started opening up, the numbers started improving like this thing. And the only thing I would say is that if you have a vision, you have to stick to that vision. A lot of retailers, F&B brands were not keen to come to their corporate retail. We had certain spaces earmarked for them, and they had no plans to come to that city. We kept that space vacant, waited for them till the time the project was ready, and we convinced them to come. And I think that's what helped us get the right place.
Great, thank you so much. Even for there, I would say. Very good afternoon. You know, as an organization, you have a lot of developments you've done. The experience you've done a lot of developments. You know, can you, the way, if you can give your thoughts on, what people miss while they are talking to their architects? Because architects have a different view. For them, other than the facade and the interior style, nothing else is important. Their focus is only facade and interiors. Whereas everything else from a business perspective is your perspective. And how do you marry that perspective with the architects? How do you push them to achieve the ultimate business goal of not only having a beautiful interior and exterior, but a seamless experience which gels with the customer, their movements, and how does that push happen and what techniques you have to use with the architects to actually achieve success in achieving this good combination?
Very good question, Rajendra ji. Actually, Rajendra ji, the world in India, जो हमारा ये जमाना है, जितना हम 75 ईयर में ट्रैवल किया है आजादी के बाद, वो अब पिछले 2 सालों से और अगले 4-5 साल में उससे दोगुना हम ट्रैवल कर रहे हैं. This is a mind-blowing figure. 75 years of travel and this 7 years, जो 2 साल निकल गए और आगे 5 साल के, वो अगले ये 5 साल उससे दोगुने ज्यादा ट्रैवल कर रहे हैं. In terms of demands, supply, purchasing power, कितनी होने वाली है? आपकी जनरेशन, यंग जनरेशन 65% उनकी डिमांड आ रही है. आपकी हर चीज की डिमांड इस अगले 5 साल में ट्रिपल होने वाली है. और उस पर अब एक और परेशानी है, सब लोग रिच पे रिचर और होने वाले, सबको लग्जरी चाहिए, एक्सपीरियंशियल रिटेल चाहिए, रिटेलिंग चाहिए, एक्सपीरियंशियल. तो सबसे पहले हमें क्या करना होगा, जो हम बजट बनाते हैं अपने प्रोजेक्ट्स, अगर उसमें हमने आर्किटेक्ट और कंसल्टेंट की फीस अभी तक एक्स देते थे, अब आपको ऑलमोस्ट 8 to 10x देने का जमाना है। सबसे पहली चीज, बजट आपका 10 करोड़ है, 100 करोड़ का नहीं, आपको लैंडस्केप सुपर डुपर चाहिए। आर्किटेक्ट इज मेयरली एन आर्किटेक्ट जो आपको डिजाइन और फसाड और एमईपी देते हैं। अब एक्सपीरियंशियल रिटेल आपको या एक्सपीरियंशियल ऑफिस या एक्सपीरियंशियल हॉस्पिटैलिटी देंगे, तो आपको बहुत सारे कंसल्टेंट चाहिए, बहुत सारे रिसर्च। तो सबसे पहला आप 10 गुना बजट बढ़ाएंगे। एक्सपीरियंशियल रिटेल ऑफिस हॉस्पिटैलिटी के लिए एक बेसिक फंडामेंटल है कि आप एबीसी बोलते हैं उसको, अराइवल, बैक एरिया और कॉमन एरिया, उसका पूरा 1 2 3 तैयार कीजिए। अराइवल has to be very good from the traffic plan, the moment somebody enters the complex. डिवीजन चाहिए, साथ में आपको अराइवल के समय वाटरफॉल चाहिए, आपको वर्टिकल गार्डन चाहिए, डिमांड्स कितनी बढ़ती जो आर्किटेक्चर में नहीं पढ़ाया जाता, वो आपको सब कुछ देना है। बिग, जैसे यहाँ पे आपको ट्रिपल हाइट चाहिए, आई डोंट नो इसका हाइट 40 फुट होगा या ज्यादा है, ज्यादा होगा, 50 फुट होगा, 50 फुट का आप ये वो कर रहे हैं, तो आपको अराइवल एक्सपीरियंस बहुत अच्छा देना है। आज कॉमन एरिया एक्सपीरियंस भी बहुत अच्छा देना है, एयर कंडीशनिंग भी बहुत अच्छी देनी है। अब यंग जनरेशन को बायोफिलिक भी चाहिए, आपके फसाड में ग्रीन एलिमेंट्स भी फसाड में भी चाहिए, इंटर में भी चाहिए, कॉमन एरिया में भी चाहिए, वॉशरूम तक में आपको चाहिए उसका कोई ना कोई ट्री लगा हुआ, तो बायोफिलिक भी चाहिए, वाटरफिलिक भी चाहिए और एंटरटेनमेंट भी चाहिए आपको। इतनी सारी डिजाइन आपकी फ्यूचर की अगले 5 साल के लिए जो जनरेशन आ रही है, उन सबको ये चाहिए, अगर आप यहाँ नहीं देखते हैं वो दूर चले जाएंगे, तो उनको यहाँ आपको होल्ड करना। ये बहुत बड़ी रॉकेट साइंस बन रही है आज के समय में प्रोजेक्ट डिजाइनिंग, जो कभी एक नॉर्मल चीज होती थी, 3 महीने में आप नक्शा फाइल कर देते थे, वो अब 1.5 साल का सकते। This is how we are doing a lot of research, lot of everything. आपको वर्टिकल ट्रांसपोर्ट, आपको 17 कैपेसिटी वाले में 7 या 8 से ज्यादा लोग भी ट्रैवल करते हैं कोविड के बाद, तो आपको अपने टैबलेट और आपको वर्टिकल ट्रांसपोर्ट इंक्रीज करने पड़ेंगे, उनका एक्सपीरियंस अच्छा देना है। तो जनरेशन जी बहुत ज्यादा डिमांडिंग आ रही है एंड दे आर रेडी टू पे फॉर दैट। इंसिडेंटली हमारी परचेजिंग पावर जो आज 4 से 5 ट्रिलियन यूएस डॉलर है, परचेजिंग पावर पैरिटी की बात कर रहा हूँ, वो अगले 5 साल में 40 यूएस ट्रिलियन डॉलर पहुंचने वाली है, थर्ड लार्जेस्ट आफ्टर यूएस एंड चाइना। चाइना के 16 के आसपास, हम 14 पहुंच गए। कैन यू इमेजिन, हमारे पास सप्लाई नहीं होगी और अच्छे मॉल तो बिल्कुल ही, जो जैन जी कुछ अच्छे मॉल से कोई ऑफेंड ना हो, मैं कह रहा हूँ जो जनरेशन नेक्स्ट को मॉल चाहिए उनकी सप्लाई बहुत शॉर्टेज है। तो अगर खुदा साहब अच्छे मॉल बना रहे हैं, रिलैक्स बैठिए, मार्केट बहुत अच्छा है, रियाज साहब मजे करिए, अगर अच्छी चीज बना रहे आपके पास ब्रांड्स की नहीं लगने वाली है, नॉट ओनली इंडियन फ्रॉम आउटसाइड वर्ल्ड के बहुत सारे ब्रांड इंडिया में एंट्री लेने आ रहे हैं। हमारे पास शॉर्टेज है सर, हमारे पास अच्छे ब्रांड्स की, अच्छे होटल्स की और अच्छे रेस्टोरेंट्स जो उनकी डिमांड्स। आज हर एक जनजी को रेजिडेंशियल हाउसिंग में कम से कम 50 60 70 80 हजार फुट का चाहिए, नॉर्मली 15 से 20 हजार लोग, तो सप्लाई शॉर्टेज। तो एंजॉय, इंडिया इज शाइनिंग मार्केट, most shining market on the earth coming next 5 years. Let's enjoy it. बशर्ते हम अपनी रिसर्च के साथ अपने बजट्स बढ़ा के अच्छी चीज बना रहे हैं। This is my thank you.
Thank you, Sunil. Thank you so much. Abhishek, I have a question which is arising from what Salil ji has said. He said that the cost of capital for construction because of all these things is actually, he is indicating that it is going to go up tremendous high. And the reasoning that he is trying to provide is that, it's the customer who is expecting all these things. Not that there is a need from the developer side, but there is an expectation from the customer side that all these expectations have to be fulfilled, otherwise we go to some other mall in some other country. Do you really, are you planning to incorporate from a design perspective such important aspects of customer experience which will take your budget, because you are being a mixed use, so the impact on your budget might be one of the highest. So I would like to have some thoughts from you on what Sadiq is propagating.
I think I think इन्होंने तो सच्चाई बता दी है, क्योंकि थोड़ा टाइम मुझे भी हो गया काम करते, और जो हम आज से 10 साल पहले सोचते थे, अब उससे चीजें बहुत चेंज, बहुत मतलब बहुत ज्यादा। हर प्रोजेक्ट को एक आर्किटेक्ट को दिया जाता था, वो प्लान निकालता था, उसको दिया जाता था काम। अब पहले आप फीजिबिलिटी स्टडी करते हैं कि मार्केट का टारगेट कस्टमर आपके यहाँ पे आएगा कौन, उसके पास उसकी चॉइसेस क्या है, उसका लाइफस्टाइल क्या है, उसके पास पैसे कितने हैं, वो कितनी बड़ी फैमिली है उसकी, एंड उसकी बिहेवियर क्या है। वो पूरी एनालिसिस के बाद आप देखते हैं कि और क्या उसको कोई चीज जो प्रोवाइड हो रही है उसका पेट भरा हुआ नहीं भरा हुआ, कहाँ पे उसकी पेट खाली है, उस चीज को आप बनाओ। फिर वो पूरे एनालिसिस के बाद आप सोचते हो कि चलो इसमें ये बनाते हैं, वो लैंड यूज उससे डिटरमिन होता है। उसके बाद आप then you start researching on what is the best breeze you can give the architect, because पहले क्या होता था कि जी FAR है, ये प्लॉट है, और इसमें आप शॉप्स निकाल दो, ऊपर ऑफिस निकाल दो, काम करो। अब आपको एक एक चीज आर्किटेक्ट को बतानी पड़ती है। जो ब्रीफ जाता है हमारे यहाँ से, वो 20-25 पेज का होता है, और अगर उसमें आप रिसर्च करके फिजिबिलिटी स्टडी की चीजें डालो तो 100 पेज तक चला जाता है। फिर वो आर्किटेक्ट उसमें दिमाग लगाते हैं, देन इनिशियल स्टेज पे ही 10 से 12 कंसल्टेंट उसके साथ काम करते हैं हर फील्ड के। अगर ट्रैफिक है तो सिक्योरिटी अलग है, अगर इंटीरियर है तो एक्सपीरियंशियल अलग है कि वो इज द रिटेल कंसल्टेंट की व्हाट एक्सपीरियंस इज गेटिंग, फसाड लाइटिंग और इतनी चीजें उसमें चली जाती हैं। एमओपी कितने टाइप्स होते हैं। सर का नॉर्मली जो हम वॉल्स पहले बना रहे थे, लोगों की एक्सपेक्टेशन थी कि हम जीके एम ब्लॉक यहाँ से डिफेंस कॉलोनी से निकले वॉल में, बट अब क्या है, अब लोगों को पता है बेस्ट ऑफ द वर्ल्ड क्या है, और ऑलरेडी हमारे पास कुछ ऐसे एग्जांपल्स हैं ऑल ओवर इंडिया व्हिच आर डूइंग अ वेरी गुड जॉब इन मिक्स्ड यूज। सो पीपल आर बेंचमार्किंग दैट। व्हाट यू हैव टू डू इज बियॉन्ड दैट, क्योंकि आपने प्रॉपर्टी बनानी है कम से कम 50 साल में, तो आपको तो बहुत ही आगे सोचना पड़ेगा। सो वर्ल्ड में से क्या ला सकते हैं, क्या चीजें नहीं ले सकते हैं, और सबसे ज्यादा जरूरी डिजाइनिंग है। डेफिनेटली कॉस्ट इज समथिंग यू हैव टू बेट ऑन इंडिया बिग टाइम। मतलब दिल खोल के आपको बस खर्चने हैं पैसे, सब खाली कर देना है, और उसके बाद सोचना है कि आगे देखा जाएगा। क्योंकि अगर आप आज नहीं करोगे ये चीज, दैट मींस यू आर शाइंग अवे फ्रॉम द स्टोरी दैट इज कमिंग, एंड व्हिच सर said it's amazing, and we're looking into a bright future. So after you done with the design, तब जाके बारी आती है कॉस्ट कंसल्ट, भाई बता दो, बना तो दिया no, and then probably you can start shaving off a little bit, चलो इसकी जगह ये कर लेते हैं, but initially you have to go all guns blazing, and obviously I mean location matters, your target segment matters। ऐसा नहीं हो सकता कि आप कोई चीज गाजियाबाद में बना रहे हैं और वो इस लेवल की हो कि वो साकेत की लेवल की हो। So you have to be sensitive to the market and the target customer. So yeah.
Capital cost from designing perspective, is perhaps given fact these days that really required the cost of construction will go up. But do you really find some solutions? Do you really work hard with your teams to ensure that without without compromising on the customer experience, without compromising the quality of the design that you build, when you're operating an asset, are you looking at cost cutting measures or value engineering during operations that your overall costs remain in the control?
First, I'd like to just add to what Ajay just said. I think today we are building assets for the next 50 years. And the customer of today is so well exposed because of social media, travel, etc. If you build an asset which is not world class, it's a matter of time the asset will go down. So from that point of view, the vision has to be to produce a world class asset. And like you said, of course, once you start building, you see what elements you have in the construction phase. While the operations, of course, you can build in SOPs and systems which you can bring in cost saving. So thankfully, mixed use development is happening in some manner. Of course, our parking infrastructure can be used. Like you have a hotel that works more at night and the retail works in the day. So things like that happen, and offices work in weekdays, retail works more on the weekend. So our the infrastructure for power backup, etc., can be utilized better. From that point of view, those things can be done mixed use actually work out better. And from an operation point of view, there are many things that the operation teams are doing on a day-to-day basis. It's like running a factory or running a hospitality asset. You look at your costs every month, you see how you can minimize them or optimize them is the right word without letting the customer sort of.
Murtuza, you are a little away in your kind of format from all of this because you're building a master format, which is not a great talk. But you also face capital challenges when, as compared to what everybody else is facing. Typically for this outlet mall, the kind of challenges that everybody else is facing.
Um, Interestingly, what Salil ji mentioned, and what the other panelists also mentioned, I think what we've thrived on while making this entire plan was not capital driven, it was more emotion driven. I think, like Sir said, that Gen Z is critically a very important part of our next generation. We also have to understand that they are very, very emotional, a lot more emotional than what we are today. So, does what we spend on matter to them? I think it's much lesser than that. I think it's a lot more to do with what's the experience that we are offering, and I believe that experiences don't come with money only. I think being into hospitality, I have understand and understood that in order to create something that's arty, unique, and a good experience, somewhere इस चीज को हमको समझना पड़ेगा कि इनको प्लीज करने के लिए जहाँ उन्होंने ऑलरेडी बहुत सारे कंट्रीज ट्रैवल कर लिया है और उन्होंने ऑलरेडी देखा हुआ है, कहीं ना कहीं वी हैव टू लुक एट समथिंग डिफरेंट टू ऑफर. So while it is obviously saving their money, in our case, we've also tried to ensure that everything is the first, everything is new. There is a direct connection, a story, a brand that we are building for them. That's what they are buying into, rather than, of course, I mean, the material expense that we always keep looking at.
You know, I would like to ask a simple question to all of you, actually, the same question. And your brains on what you feel. If you talk to experts in mixed use and retail in the world, they generally have a very simple point. Success or failure of the asset is actually defined at the time of design. If it is designed well, it will succeed. If it is not designed well, it will not succeed. So before they actually start operations, people are generally having a view that the success or failure is predefined based on what you have already designed from beginning perspective, the customer experience, or the way that you put it up together, internal, external facades, or beauty, or whatever ideas you have put up, or whatever chandeliers you have put up, or access you have given, how far each one of you thinks that is true or false? Please.
Rajendra ji, interestingly, I'm an engineer और मैंने काफी बड़ी कंपनी वर्ल्ड की काम किया है जब वो टॉप 5 कंपनी वर्ल्ड तो वहाँ पे एक चीज थी वो कंपनी आज भी बहुत सक्सेसफुल है वो लोग हर साल अगले 50 साल का बिजनेस प्लान बनाते एवरी in every department has to prepare 50-year business plan. We as a developer in India, ourselves, हम सबको बहुत कुछ सभी को एजुकेट होना है हम सब फेल नहीं हो सकते एक बड़ी इंग्लिश की सिंपल सी कहावत भी बोलेंगे यू आर व्हाट यू थिंक व्हाट यू आर अगर मैंने सोचा है मैं 50 साल एक वंडरफुल काम कर रहा हूँ या 60 साल या एक ऐसी कंपनी बना रहा हूँ जो परपेचुअल अच्छी चले तो क्यों नहीं चलता लेकिन इंटरेस्टिंगली हम लोग बड़े शॉर्ट विजन के ऊपर यार ये मेरी लैंड है ये मेरी एफएसआई है एक बंच की अपने डेल्टा बनाया और निकल गए तो हमारी एक कॉलेप्स आया कि हमारे यहाँ 98% मॉल बंद हो गए कंट्री उस सोच से ऊपर चलना पड़ेगा आपकी मजबूरी है ये तो आपको तो आप क्या सोच के चल रहे हैं क्या हम एक स्पिरिचुअल रिटेल बना रहा हूँ या हॉस्पिटैलिटी प्रोजेक्ट कर रहा हूँ 70-50-60 साल के लिए कर रहा हूँ कम से कम तो चलेगी तो हमारी सोच ही हमें डिफाइन थैंक यू
So I think answering your question, I think yes, design does play a very important role. And design is not only about facade and lighting and exterior. It's not about functionality and especially retail. Functionality is not there as much as you put the best part of retail won't work. That's my limited experience in retail. That's what I've seen. To give the customer functionality, it's easy to move. Even if the building doesn't look the prettiest, we come back to your mall. Suppose there's no parking, he comes to your mall, you're not going to come again because there's no parking. So I think these are the more important aspects of planning rather than architecture. I think it's planning which is very, very important. If you get the planning right in retail, it will make a big difference.